Before committing to buying any property or land, it is important to do your due diligence. So what does this due diligence even involve? So in this video, I'll explain to you how land surveyors contribute to the process of conducting due diligence, from defining the boundaries of the land to verifying ownership and ensuring that the land or property you want to acquire is legitimate. So in property transactions or land transactions, one essential document often involved is a site plan. And the site plan is an outcome of a land surveyor's work. So a site plan is basically a graphical representation or a drawing which shows the boundaries and key features of a piece of land. They are often attached, site plans are often attached to land documents to show that this is the subject matter the writings on the document is referring to. So in a land transaction situation or in a property transaction situation, the seller of the land or the owner or whoever is selling the property to you would they might provide a site plan or they might not. So in the event a site plan is provided, you will need a land surveyor to confirm if the site plan truly matches the land that has been shown. If none was provided, then the surveyor can prepare a new site plan for you, which is even better. So it is important for land buyers to have a site plan which truly matches the land that has been shown. It should accurately reflect the land or property because you need that site plan to verify ownership. So how do you verify ownership? So you can do so by checking from institutions mandated by law to record land transactions or ownership of land. So notable amongst them is the Lands Commission. So we do what we call a search, an official search at the Lands Commission. So a search is basically applying to the Lands Commission to check in their records about the ownership history and transactions, past transactions of a piece of land or property. So a search from the Lands Commission will show the ownership, current ownership status of the land. So whether a land title certificate has been issued on that land, the interests, so whether it's a leasehold interest, freehold interest, the search report should show that. The search report should also show past transactions or past activities on the land, how ownership has changed over the years on that land, including the very original owners, that's the allodial title. So if any judgment, court judgment, has occasioned a change in ownership, it should show on the search report, which is an important information. The search report will also show if the land is state owned. Again, this is another important information. The search report will also show if there are any encumbrances on the land. So encumbrances are like a mortgage, or if the property has been used as a collateral for a loan or any litigation issues on the land. It should show in the search report or it might show in the search report. So basically the search report reveals information which will have legal implications on in a sales situation if the property is to be sold. Issues that will have legal implications will be reviewed in the search report. That is why many people leave land searches and all that in the hands of their lawyers. Also, the language on the search report can be quite technical and dense, and so you might need someone to interpret the terms in there for you. Sometimes your land surveyor can even do interpret some of these terms for you. The downside about searches is that the past transactions which weren't registered with the Lands Commission won't show in the search report because the Lands Commission doesn't know about it. So if someone bought the land in the past and didn't take steps to register their interests at the Lands Commission, it won't show in the search report. Also, if the Lands Commission wasn't informed about any encumbrance or litigation issue, it won't show in the search report. So because of that, the search report does not provide 100% protection against litigation issues. And that's unfortunate. But at least it proves that the land buyer did their due diligence. So as a next step, what some land buyers do is to conduct a court search. So it's basically presenting your site plan to the courts to check in their records if this land is a subject matter of any litigation issue in the court. Again, this is not foolproof. Why? Because what if no lawsuit has been filed on that land? Meanwhile, there is one litigation issue brewing behind the scene. So the brutal truth about land acquisition in Ghana is that almost every piece of land, especially bare land, is potentially susceptible to litigation issues. And that's unfortunate because almost any person can show up to claim ownership of the land. So these claims may or may not be legitimate. So truly, a person might have paid for the land in the quest to acquire the land in the past, but didn't take steps to register their interest at the Lands Commission, or even they didn't even follow the due processes to acquire the land, and so they don't have right documentation to back their ownership. Again, or on the flip side, some people may show up to claim the land, but don't have any legitimate claim. They might be just fabricating stories to extort from you, which is possible in Ghana. Some unscrupulous people do that. And so in the land market, titled lands or registered lands often command high premium. They command some premium in the market and are often priced higher because it is perceived that they offer reduced risk. So once the search reveals that the seller or the person posing as a seller owns the land, then the title or the ownership can immediately be transferred. The downside too here is that it doesn't still show that no issues may arise. So issues may still arise, but because you took time to verify things, you did your due diligence, so you are in a stronger legal position and will have something to stand on in case any problem arises, which is can be very helpful. So you should always do your due diligence. Another option is to acquire state lands because state lands are also less prone to litigation, but still you might still encounter issues. You know, the issue about land in Ghana is that some people move in neighborhoods. So people in the neighborhoods who are familiar with the neighborhoods might spot bare lands and sell to unsuspecting people. So that's one of the major issues that causes land litigation issue. So land litigation is a very major problem in Ghana. But once you followed the due processes, you are kind of protected. And that is why it is important to engage professionals when acquiring land. So you should have a land surveyor who provide or prepare a site plan which truly matches the land. So if the site plan don't match the land, it means that the search is faulty. The search results is even wrong to start with. You also need a lawyer to take care of the documentations and the legal processes and all that. And sometimes to a real estate agent to take off the transactions and all that. So it's very important to engage professionals in land acquisition or property acquisition in general. So in an earlier video in which I talked about the important role lawyers play in property acquisition in Ghana, I mentioned that many people are priced out of legal fees because legal fees are often tied to the value of the property. So land surveyors are also not exactly cheap either, but their fees depend more on the size of the land and the scope of work to be done, and so it is manageable for the average person. And even the truth even is that you can't skip land surveyors in property acquisition, unlike lawyers that you can find your way around. For land surveyors, you can't skip them because a site plan is important in the documents. You need a site plan to be attached to documents to complete the paperwork. So by all means, you will encounter a land surveyor in the property acquisition process. But you don't have to wait. You should be proactive in engaging a land surveyor very early in the acquisition process because that can be very helpful. So my name is Evans, and on this channel I share insights on real estate issues in Ghana. So if you found this video helpful, you learned anything from this video, you found it insightful, kindly hit the like button and share to others. And also subscribe to the channel for topics or for videos on similar topics on real estate and all that. And if you have any comments, you have any reactions, you have any stories to share, you can leave them in the comment section. and I would love to hear from you. So thank you for watching.